If you're having any difficulties accessing anything in this video tutorial, please contact our help desk by email at aoe.gmshelp@vermont.gov or by phone at 802-479-1044. We will help you find alternative means to access this information. If you are looking for more information on accessing the GMS platform, please see the GMS user manual located in the training section of the GMS landing page. The following training recording is for users completing monitoring for the IDEA program within the Grants Management System for the FY20 grant year. This is the GMS landing page in production, and most of you that will be completing this monitoring collection will already have credentials in the GMS for completing grant applications such as the IDEA consolidated application. For the purposes of this training video, we'll be switching into the test environment where I'll be demonstrating a sample test collection using the Wyndham Central district. Again, this is the test environment. Now go ahead and you'll log into production, obviously, with your user ID and password, and you'll have the GMS Access Select link where you can get to your grant applications. You'll also see this monitoring link here at the bottom, and you'll have links to the collections, possibly for the CFP or for other collections that are being monitored. This ID only has access to IDEA's monitoring. So once I've expanded that chevron here, I'll expose the different monitoring collections that are available. Click on IDEA Consolidated, and you'll see your district here listed as scheduled reviews. Again, approximately 1/3 of the districts in Vermont are being reviewed for the 2020 year. You'll see information about who's your initial reviewer and what is the status of this review. You as the district will need to select this radio button next to your district and then click on the Open Review button. The agency will have already created the collection for you. Throughout the monitoring collection tabs for IDEA, we've worked to make sure that if a page is to be completed by an LEA, you'll see LEA in the tab name. Whereas if it's being completed by the agency, you'll see AOE within the tab name. Many of the agency pages need to be reviewed by the district, but they won't need to be filled in or saved by the district. Again, here's some general information about what it is that we're monitoring for, and there's nothing on this overview page that needs to ultimately be saved. I move on to the annual date review, the second tab, and initially what you will see are on this sub-tab 2.1a is the agency's upload of your IEP initial document. Tanya and the other folks there at the Agency of Education will be uploading a file for each district being monitored that includes your IEP initial review here. What we're asking every district to do is to access that file that will be displayed here, and then ultimately come back to the IEP Review LEA Upload tab, and this is where we need you to respond based on the uploaded file for your district, your IEP initial document. So you're uploading a file back at this point. Next tab over talks about your triennial initial document. Again, the agency will have uploaded something for you, and your revised version of the document should be sent back to the agency on 2.2b, the Triennial Review LEA Upload page. The final upload, there is no agency initial version. This is the regarding adverse effect, and the LEA needs to complete this. There are links to the documentation form and the special ed resources page that can be accessed from this tab. With those various uploads performed, we move into the LEA data entry tab, tab 3.0. District superintendents or authorized representatives will need to complete this top section, which is simply to acknowledge that you have read the data on this page. Once the district soup hits save, their name and the date that they completed that will be stored permanently in these fields. Their options are to say, yes, I agree with the data displayed for my LEA, or alternatively to say, no, I don't agree with this data, and I'm going to describe why I don't agree with that data in this text area here. But ultimately, the district superintendent, prior to completing this whole monitoring collection, must review this page and save this page with this checkbox checked. And for the purposes of testing, I'm going to go ahead and put in the word testing. There RNAs in my actual data fields. And I'll show you what that means here in just a second. At the bottom of the page is where the Save Page button is. When I click on Save Page, that actually stores the name of this user, the district superintendent's name, and obviously I created a fictitious account, then my name is Wyndham Central Monitoring, but that I agreed to this on September 24th. Now, there are 17 different indicators on this page. For each indicator, we have the ability to say what was your district's actual performance, what was the state target for that indicator, and did your district meet that target? Now, as of the time that we're recording this training session here in late September 2019, those targets have not yet been loaded into the system, and so for the time being, we're going to ask you to respond to many of the indicators while we ultimately come back and get that data, actual data loaded. So other than the, yes, I've reviewed the data and I agree or don't agree with it, there's nothing for you to save within this page. All these fields are simply data that has been loaded by the state. Now, if we move on to the further on down the tab 3 sub-tab, you'll notice that there are multiple indicators where if your district did not meet the state target, then we're going to ask you for some supplemental information. Each of these indicators, from indicator 4 on through indicator 13, follows a very similar format. I'll go into indicator 4. Now, if your district did pass the state target for indicator 4, then you'll see a message saying you don't need to complete this page because you're meeting the state target. But if you didn't meet the state target, then there are going to be some questions along the lines of, okay, what are your areas of improvement? What are your areas of strength? What are your barriers? So on and so forth. If you need to upload files related to this indicator, and in this case, it's your discipline and expulsion processes, those can be uploaded here for the agency to ultimately review. Each indicator, each sub-indicator, indicator 4, indicator 19, follows the same general structure, and you'll need to complete as many indicators as your district has not yet met the state targets for. But with all of those indicators ultimately completed, the last sub-tab here on level 3 is to submit for review. And this is where the district has the ability to say, I've reviewed everything, I've uploaded all my supporting documentation, and I'm ready for the agency to review this. And ultimately, if you have any supplemental response related to an audit finding, you can type in that answer here as well. But when I check this checkbox and then hit Save Page, that will eventually trigger an email to be sent to the state saying, Wyndham Central, in this case, is now ready for the agency to review the LEA data entry tab. At that point, Tanya's team will begin, Tanya and the other folks there at the agency will begin working on tab 4, which is where they will be defining which sections is it required for the state to complete additional, or I'm sorry, for the district to complete additional information. They can upload files if they need to here. Now I'm in here with a district ID, so I'm going to, for purposes of testing, I'm going to switch over into a different browser here. Again, still part of Wyndham Central, but now I'm logged in as a state user, and I'm going to say, well, they owe us more information about indicator number 11, just for argument's sake. And what improvement activity is necessary? I'm just going to type in the word test, and I'm going to say that was reviewed on today, 9/24/2019. And now hit save. Now notice there are as many as 6 different indicators plus the IEP and triennial reviews that could require more information from the district. I hit Save Page, and now ultimately the agency will come back. That will trigger a notification back to the district to say, okay, now it's the district's turn to tell us about their improvement activities. When you come into your improvement activities tab, you'll notice the only improvement activity that exists here is indicator number 11. I'm sorry, I'm going to switch back over to the other browser where the district is the entry person here. There's improvement activity number 11, but there's not improvement activity number 4 or number 9 because the state didn't ask for more information related to that. And so you'll be able to describe the improvement activities that you're going to take here and who's responsible for conducting those activities, and moreover, when do you expect those activities to be completed? So I'll go out here as an agency, as a district person, and I'm going to say sample improvement activity. Please don't actually type that, it will get rejected. It's just for the purposes of testing. and I'll put John Smith as the person responsible, and I expect that will be completed by November 1st, 2019, and hit Save Page, November 10th, sorry. When I've hit Save Page, that information now goes back to the agency where they're able to review your proposed improvement activities and determine if they think those are acceptable or not. Remember, we only said there was one indicator here, so again, I'll switch back into the browser where I'm logged in as a state person. Excuse me. And on that compliance page, they can say, yes, the improvement activity has been implemented and the finding has now been resolved, or they can say, no, it's still in progress and the finding remains open at that time. Why is the finding still open? Activities not yet completed. When I hit Save Page, that ultimately gets to that point. And so I've got an error message here related to the state person, but that's not relevant to what the district is going to have. They'll be finishing all of their findings and submitting that information back to you. And until all of the findings have been remediated, all of the areas where the state's looking for improvement activities to be performed, the monitoring cycle will remain open. That's the end of the process. It's also the end of this training video. If anyone has any questions, the folks there at the IDEA, Tanya's team there within the Agency of Education is the best first point of contact. Thank you very much.